The life and legacy of the commander of the faithfuls, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi salam, the first man in Islam, the cousin of the Prophet, his son-in-law, the first defender and supporter of the Prophet. We will discuss his sacrifice and his contributions over 30 episodes. So please join me. I am your brother, Moustafa Qazwini. Assalamu alaikum. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. All our praise and gratitude are due to our merciful Lord. May His peace and blessings be upon all the messengers, the prophets, and upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, and upon his immaculate family and righteous companions. May the peace of the Lord be with you, my friends. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. After the Battle of Nahrawan in the year 38 Hijri, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, he never stopped his attacks against Imam Ali and his military expeditions against the provinces that was ruled by Imam Ali alayhi salam. And he was adamant to bring the caliphate of Imam Ali alayhi salam, would bring it down to an end, because he aspired to be the caliph. And it was hard for him to see someone like Ali, who murdered his forefathers and his uncles and his family members in the battles of Badr and Uhud and others, to be a caliph today. So he continued his aggressions, acts of aggression against Imam Ali alayhi salam. And Imam Ali, being the caliph, has to defend his community and his state, the integrity of Islam. He would not allow a tyrant like Muawiyah to wreak havoc in the land. But on the other hand, Imam Ali alayhi salam did not have a good support from his community, the people of Iraq and others, neither his own army. They were sluggish, they were reluctant, because they were tired of 3 wars. Many of them were tired. But he kept encouraging them that if you give in to tyranny, then this is the end of your life. This is the disgrace, that you surrender to someone who's intimidating you, who wants to dominate you, who wants to take freedom away from you. You must fight for your rights. You must stand for your dignity. Few people accepted his invitations. And he was preparing. He stood in the market of Kufa one day, giving a speech about jihad, the importance of jihad. فَوَاللَّهِ مَا تَرَكَ قَوْمٌ الْجِهَادَ إِلَّا ذَلُّ. Any community that neglects jihad and defense, defending their families and their integrities and their cities and their freedom, then they would be disgraced. And he kept calling al-jihad, ya ibad Allah. And then he said, I'm going to leave after the month of Ramadan. The month of Ramadan was coming. After the month of Ramadan, I'm going to take my army, even if no one is responding, even if I have 10 people of my family with me. I will go to combat Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. So a group of his people and his supporters, they gathered in An-Nukhayla, which is just outside Kufa. It was a barricade or a military camp in a preparation for a defensive battle against Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Meanwhile, the Kharijites who were defeated in the Battle of Nahrawan in Baghdad, they gathered in Mecca. They had a conference in Mecca to mourn their dead ones. And they decided in that conference that we have to murder 3 people and establish a new ruling. Those 3 are Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen, alayhi salatu wassalam. The second, Muawiyah. The third, Amr ibn al-As. At that time, Amr was the governor of Egypt. And he was the right hand of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. He was his confidant and his loyal friend. So they decided that in one night we have to go after these 3 and strike at them and get rid of them. So they decided to send Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam or Muljam al-Muradi to kill Imam Ali in Kufa, and Al-Barq ibn Abdullah al-Tamimi to kill Muawiyah in Damascus, and Umar or Amr ibn Abi Bakr al-Tamimi, Amr ibn Abi Bakr al-Tamimi to kill Amr ibn al-As in Egypt. So this guy, Al-Barq ibn Abdullah al-Tamimi, he comes to Damascus and he goes to Muawiyah and he strikes at him, but the sword does not hit the head of Muawiyah. And this is the plan of God. It hits his buttock and it hurts him, of course. And this guy, Al-Barq, was captured and ultimately he was killed by Muawiyah. But then he said to Muawiyah, I'm giving you good news. Tonight, Ali is going to be killed and Amr ibn al-As. So Muawiyah survived. He didn't die. Then that guy, Amr ibn Abi Bakr al-Tamimi, went to Amr ibn al-As in Egypt. That night, Amr ibn al-As, again, this is the design of God, the planning of God. He did not go to the prayers. He sent his chief judge, the head of the judiciary in Egypt, by the name of Kharija ibn Hudhafa. He sent him instead of him to lead the prayers, and Kharija was killed, and Amr ibn al-As, he captured this person, the perpetrator, whose name is Amr ibn Abi Bakr, and he murdered him, he killed him. Then Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam came to Kufa, and he went to a neighborhood called Kinda, and in that neighborhood there were some Kharijites belonging to a tribe called Taymur Rabab. And he was introduced to Qutam, a woman called Qutam al-Kharijiyya, whose father and a brother were killed in the Battle of Nahrawan. They were part of the Kharijites. So she was seeking to revenge their death in Nahrawan. And then he was introduced also to someone called Wardan and Shabib ibn Bajra. And he asked to marry Qutam. Qutam said, I will marry you, but I have 3 or 4 conditions. 1, you need to give me 3,000 dinars. You need to give me a male slave, female slave, abdun waqina, and most importantly, I want you to murder Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, I am here for this task. Let's do it. So he purchased a sword with 1,000 dinar, and he purchased a poison, deadly poison, with another 1,000 dinar to apply the poison to the sword. So when it reaches the head of Imam Ali, if the sword does not kill him, the poison is going to kill him. And then they discussed how to reach Ali. It's not easy. Ali is a brave man. Despite his old age, now Ali is almost 63 years old. But still no one can approach him. No one can take him by surprise. They said the best thing is when Ali goes into his prayers. When he goes into his prayers, that is the time where you can strike at him. So he planned to strike on the 18th of the month of Ramadan in the evening, which is the eve of the 19th. Imam Ali used to go to the mosque early to do the nawafil, probably in the mosque. And that night Imam Ali decided to raise the adhan himself. He came inside the mosque. Ibn Muljam was sleeping and covering the sword, sleeping on his belly. Imam Ali moved him. He said to him, don't sleep on your belly. And Imam Ali raised the adhan. Historians say every household in Kufa, they heard the voice of Imam Ali. His voice reverberated around the city. فما كان بيت في الكوفة إلا وسمع صوت الإمام صوت الأذان. Every household. That night was a long night for Ali. It was a sleepless night. Every now and then he leaves his room and he looks at the stars and he says, هي الليلة التي وعدني فيها حبيبي رسول الله. This is the night where my sweetheart, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he promised me that I'm going to leave this life. And he spent the night in adoration and in prayers. He did not sleep. At the sunset of that night, he broke his fast in the house of his daughter Kulthum, because he used to divide his time among his children. One night in the house of Imam Hassan, one night in the house of Imam Hussein. They lived close to each other, near the mosque of Kufa. And he ate very little food. She said, I brought some milk and some barley bread. He said, I will take only the barley bread. I don't want the milk. Barley bread, one loaf of bread with some salt. That was his food. And then, before Fajr, he prepared himself. He was wrapping himself with his cloth, and he would say, أشدد حيازيمك للموت فإن الموت لاقيك ولا تجزع من الموت إذا حل بناديك كما أضحكك الدهر كذاك الدهر يبكيك. Prepare yourself for death, O Ali. When death is going to land into your courtyard, into your house, prepare yourself. Be ready for it. فإن الموت لاقيك. And do not be afraid of death. And then he went outside. He was leaving, And the divine plan was that Ali should be alone that night. Even his children would not go to him with him to the mosque in the beginning, though they came after. He has to be alone. This is the divine plan in the making. And then there were some geese in the house. When they saw Imam Ali, they were screaming. Imam Ali turned to them and he said, صَوَائِحٌ تَتْبَعُهَا نَوَائِحٌ. These cries are going to be followed by tears. He went to the mosque, he raised his voice in the adhan. He came down to do the prayers, the nafilatul fajr. He stood in his sanctuary where he used to stand. He had entered the nafilah before the faridah, before the mandatory prayers, which is 2 units of prayers. And when he went to the prostration, he raised his head. Ibn Muljam was hiding behind the column of the mosque. He approached him and he dealt him a blow on his head. When Imam Ali received this strike, the first thing he said, فُزْتُ وَرَبِّ الْكَعْبَةِ. I attained success and salvation by the Lord of the house. And then he was drenched with his blood. And the people of the city of Kufa, they heard the scream, a loud scream coming بين السماء والأرض, between the sky and the earth. ألا ألا تهدمت والله أركان الهدى وانفصمت العروة الوثقى قتل علي المرتضى قتل ابن عم المصطفى قتله أشقى الأشقياء. O people, today the foundations of faith has been dismantled. Today the handle of religion is broken. Today the cousin of the Prophet, the commander of the faithfuls, Ali al-Murtada, is murdered. And he is murdered by Ashqa al-Ashqiya. The Prophet had said earlier to Imam Ali, many years before, maybe 40 years before the month of Ramadan, the Prophet was giving a sermon. Imam Ali turns to the Prophet, he says, Ya Rasulullah, ما أفضل الأعمال في هذا الشهر? What are the best recommended deeds during this month? The Prophet said to him, Ya Ali, الورع عن محارم الله. To abstain from committing a sin. That is the best deed. To be in God's obedience. And then the Prophet cried. Imam Ali said, I turned to the Prophet, I said to him, ما يبكيك يا رسول الله? Why do you cry? The Prophet said to me, أبكي لما يستحل منك في هذا الشهر. My tears are for what is going to happen to you. The violations that are going to take place against you in this month, the month of Ramadan. كأني بك وأنت تصلي لربك ركعات إذ ضربك أشقى الأولين والآخرين شقيق عاقر ناقة ثمود على قرنك فخضب منها لحيتك. While you are performing your prayers, this wicked person who resembles the one who hamstrung the camel of Salih alayhi salam is going to strike on you, and he will drench his face and his beard with your blood. I said to him, Ya Rasulullah, أذلك في سلامة من ديني? but my faith is going to be safe? He said, بَلَا ذَلِكَ فِي سَلَامَةٍ مِّن دِينِكَ. Yes, Ya Ali, your faith is going to be safe. So Imam Ali here now is bleeding in his sanctuary. He was born in the sanctuary in the heart of the Kaaba. And now his final departure also is in the sanctuary of the Grand Mosque of Kufa, Masjid al-Kufa. The sound reverberates in the city. فَأَسْرَعَ الْحَسَنَانِ. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, maybe Imam Hassan was 37 years old at that time. Imam Hussein was 36 years old. They both rush to aid their dad. They found him in a pool of blood in the mihrab. They come to him, they bandage him, they carry him to his house. Lady Zainab was waiting for her dad to come back home. Kulthum was waiting. The family of the Prophet was waiting. So he came and he started giving his wasiyah, his will. أوصيكما بتقوى الله ولزوم أمره وأن لا تبغي الدنيا وإن بغتكما. I advise you to have the fear of God, the reverence of God. Do not seek the dunya, even if the dunya seeks you. وأن لا تأسفا على شيء منها زوي عنكما. Do not be upset if you miss something out of this dunya. وقولا بالحق وعملا للآخرة. Always speak the truth. Always work for your hereafter. وكونا للظالم خصما وللمظلوم عونا. Always be a supporter and aid to the oppressed, while you have to be antagonists to the oppressor. Don't stand with him. Don't aid him. Don't help him. Wherever you find someone who's oppressed, don't ask him about his name. Don't ask him about his nationality, his religion. Stand with him. Whenever you find a tyrant, a dictator who abuses people and commits injustice, stand against him. Allah bil Quran, take care of the book of God. Allah bil Jiran, take care of your neighbors. Allah bil Aita, take care of orphans. فلا تغبوا أفواههم ولا يضيعوا بحضرتكم. Don't neglect them. Take care of them. And then Amir al-Mu'mineen said to his son, بني حسن أنت ولي الأمر وولي الدم. You are the guardian after me. Take care of Ibn Muljam, because he was arrested and he was in next door room. Take care of him. Give him food, give him a drink. Do not torture him. If I survive, I would know what to do with him. If I don't, then you are the wali, the guardian. It's up to you what to do with him. But if you decide to kill him, then only one strike. And do not let people amputate this person. Respect him. And they brought him some drink. He took a sip, and he said, احملوه إلى أسيركم. Take the rest for this person next door. Give him food and a drink. And then he asked Imam Hassan to bury him, to carry him to his final rest place. And then he looked forward. He said, السلام عليكم يا ملائكة ربي فلمثل هذا فليعمل العاملون. He greeted the angels. He said, for this day let people work and strive. And he said the shahadatain, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. And he closed his eyes and he left this world back into his Lord. in reunion with his Prophet Muhammad, with his wife Fatima al-Zahra. فسلام عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أمير المؤمنين يا سيد الوصيين ورحمة الله وبركاته. And the peace and the blessing of Allah upon you, my dear brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.